We're almost 2 weeks into the NBA season, and Lamelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets are still struggling, both on an individual level with Lamelo and on a team level as the entire organization. And if you look at LaMelo's first 5 games of the season, he's averaging 15.5 points and 8 assists, which don't actually look terrible at face value. But if you look deeper into his statistics and to his overall just how he's playing the game, he's shooting 30% from the field, which is absolutely atrocious, especially for a so-called star of the team in the face of the Hornets franchise. And he's shooting 26.7% from three. Now, we've seen LaMelo have his ups and his downs through the first 3 years of his NBA career. He's had games where he'll shoot the Hornets out of games, and he's had games where he's put up 30, 40 points and looked like the all-star, all-NBA caliber player that we think that he could be. However, if you look at him this season, his defense has been an issue that has been an issue in the past, but this season it looks even worse. I've seen some Hornets games where he's just looked like he's given up on defense. He is allowing his man to just walk back door on cuts, and even if his man has the ball, he just kind of sticks out his hand and makes no effort to actually stop ball as his opponent is driving. And his lack of defensive effort and almost ability, I would say, goes back as far as his high school days, where he used to cherry pick at half court and look for statistics when he was on the Chino Hills team with his brothers Leangelo and Lonzo. Now, I'm not saying that he's the same player that he was in high school. Obviously, he's matured a lot, both in his personality and in his basketball game. And I want to say that I'm still high on him. I think he could become that All-NBA player that we still think that he could be. He's only 22 years old and just turned 22. He was only born 2 years before me, actually. But if you're looking at this season, I'm kind of concerned for the rest of the season, because if you look at his teammate Brandon Miller's stats, Brandon Miller was a second overall pick in his past year's draft. He's only a rookie. But Brandon Miller is averaging actually the exact same amount of points as LaMelo, 15.5. But he's shooting 46.8% from the field and 42.1% from three. Now, of course, he's doing this on lesser attempts, but he's also providing much more defense than LaMelo is while shooting the ball efficiently. And if you look at his three-point attempts this season, he is shooting around 5 to 7 per game as per usual. And Brandon Miller is a guy who's not an excellent shooter, and he wasn't considered to be a top-tier shooter coming out of the draft, but he is shooting the ball well in the NBA. And if you're the Hornets, you're looking at these two guys and how they're starting the season, and you're thinking, LaMelo Ball is shooting us almost out of games. They are sitting at a record, as of right now, of 2-3, and they're sitting at the bottom of the Eastern Conference again, and they haven't really been a real even playoff contender, even a real play-in contender, since LaMelo has gotten there a few years ago. And of course, this isn't all LaMelo's fault. He doesn't really have a lot of talent around him. But as the franchise player, when you're expected to be an all-star caliber player, you were a top 3 draft pick in the NBA draft only a few years ago, you're expected to put up numbers and to control what you can control. And controlling what you can control for LaMelo means shooting the ball efficiently, which he has not been able to do. His shot selection is very questionable at times, and his effort defensively is, as I said before, always in question. So when you're looking at LaMelo Ball compared to Brandon Miller, while it's only been 5 games for Brandon Miller, he looks very impressive. Brandon Miller has done exactly what LaMelo Ball has done throughout the first 3 seasons of his career, but at a higher efficiency through the first 5 games of his career. Now, I'm not saying that Brandon Miller is the better player right now, or he's going to be the next superstar generational talent, for the Charlotte Hornets and lead them to the playoffs and lead them to a championship. While this might happen, I don't know, we don't know yet. But it is concerning if you're the Charlotte Hornets or a fan of the Hornets to look at a rookie coming in his first 5 games who is shooting the ball efficiently, and look at your superstar who is basically shooting you out of games and just does not seem to care and is shooting the ball just awfully. One thing that I'm going to bring into question is his health. Last year, in the end of February, he was ruled out for the rest of the season with a pretty obviously severe ankle injury. And my big concern for him right now is if he's actually fully healthy. There's clips I've seen of him shooting off of one leg. And while he does that fairly regularly for the Hornets in past seasons, I'm starting to wonder if he's favoring his injured ankle. And I wonder if he's fully healthy, because coming back from an injury is such a mental game. I've dealt with it throughout my basketball playing days, and it's hard to come back from an injury, especially an ankle injury, when it's as severe as Lamelo's was. So I'm wondering if he's playing with a lack of confidence right now. It doesn't excuse his poor shooting percentages or lack of effort on defense, but when he is going to the basket or going to shoot the ball, there might be something in the back of his mind telling him, oh, don't re-injure yourself, don't come down wrong on your ankle. And that might cause him to kind of baby that ankle a little bit more and cause him to overthink things. And when you're overthinking in basketball, at whatever level you're at, you could be in grade 6 basketball, junior high basketball, or the NBA. When you start overthinking, your production goes down and you tend to shoot yourself out of games and play a lot worse. So I hope that he can get the rest he needs, and I hope that he can get his ankle back to 100% if that is what it is. And if it's not what it is, the Hornets need to start evaluating him and looking at how he's been performing and how he can start shooting the ball more efficiently and just becoming a more overall well-rounded player to fit as the franchise player alongside Brandon Miller. Now, I think that if Lamelo Ball and Brandon Miller fulfill their true potentials, I think this could be one of the best backcourts in the NBA for the next 10 years. Brandon Miller is already showing flashes of being potentially a top 10 guard in the league for time to come. And Lamelo was a number 3 overall draft pick only a few short years ago. So if they can both fulfill their potential and what we think they can be, the Charlotte Hornets actually have a very bright future despite their record this year and despite their struggles throughout the past, honestly, decade. But I'm really excited to see what Lamelo and Brandon Miller can become together, but it's almost time to start questioning, will Brandon Miller eventually become the number 1 option in Charlotte if Lamelo Ball continues to play poorly as he has this season? And if he doesn't improve his shot selection and defensive effort, because those are the 2 things that he has done poorly throughout his career, throughout his 4-year career, and things that Brandon Miller does well. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see and how they work with each other and defer to each other in different games. And we'll have to see how they coexist together in a backcourt, and we'll have to see. So God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing day. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by Christmas. So if you could subscribe, that would mean a lot. Thanks. God bless.